Hi guys. So something that is really important in our society in general is special ed, and it's something that we don't exactly talk about a lot. So today, the purpose of my speech is to clarify the definition of inclusion, which is an educational value that is important in bringing together diverse and unique student needs in the same classroom, which is something that we don't exactly talk about or see a lot of in our schools because some of our disabled students are pushed to the side into a different room and not in our classrooms as much. So the things I'm going to talk about today in my speech are going to be the definition, the benefits of inclusion, and then also some tips on how to help those students in your classroom. So first off, inclusion as a whole is the participation of students with disabilities alongside their peers who are non-disabled in academic activities, extracurricular activities, and other class or school activities in general. There are four characteristics of inclusion. The first one is home and school placement. This just means that the student who is disabled will be at the same school that he or she would be at if there was no disability present. The second is the principle for natural proportions. This is specific for the classroom teacher, and it just ensures that he or she does not have an unreasonable amount of disabled students in the classroom, because then it is harder to reach all students and just makes it a little bit easier to engage and give beneficial knowledge and content learning. So then the third one is restructuring of teaching and learning concepts. So this just means that the team that works together with the special ed student or disabled student, AEA, the teacher, the parents, the principal, they're all going to work together and collaborate to make the best learning environment for this student and give him or her the best chance of learning that he or she can have. And the fourth one is age-appropriate placements, which just means that that child is going to have the same peer group of his or her age and the same grade level that he or she is a part of, not going to be held back or put into an environment that is much less than her age or his age based on a disability, which is really important because we want those kids to interact with peers their own age and also kind of see what's going on at their own level, which is great for those kids to actually learn and understand. So some benefits of inclusion that I found from my textbook, which is called Exceptional Lives by Anne Turnbull, is the social and communicative balance that kids can get in the classroom. They can learn how to talk to their peers, interact with their peers, and that goes for the disabled and non-disabled student. It's very important for non-disabled students to engage in activities with disabled or special ed students so that they know how to act and how to respond, especially when they get older and they're out in society and they might interact with someone like that in a different setting. Also, there was a study done that I thought was really, really interesting, and it actually talked about the educational benefits of inclusion, and this was from a book that I found called Leadership Strategies for Successful School-Wide Inclusion by Monk D.D. Dempsey, and it just talks about the access that disabled students get to their content learning standards and their age-appropriate standards in the classroom actually helps raise their learning levels, which is a great thing to know. A lot of times we pull those kids out because we think that they can't comprehend or understand it, but it's a great thing for them to learn, to interact with, and even if you have to bring it down a few notches, they're still learning the content in the same sort of way and with their peers. And then also giving them access to activities in which they're learning those activities or their standards is a great way to help them to retain that knowledge. So then the last thing would be the benefits or the tips, and I actually found two books. The first one is called the Reading Strategies book, and this is a great book for a teacher, and it shows different ways to teach reading appropriate to the level. So if you have a disabled student who is really, really low, you could look at the beginning of the book, maybe a middle disabled student in the middle, and then the higher leveled students or even your non-disabled students, you could look in the back. And it's a great way to just kind of think out of the box and make sure that you're achieving those goals for those students. And the second one is Teach Like a Champion 2.0, which is a great book. I absolutely love it. And it just shows some different tips and tricks for teachers to kind of help guide student questions, wait time, how to call on students, how to get them together in groups, how to organize your classroom, how to set up desks. It's a great read. Really helps that out. And some tips that I read about, and I've also seen in my years as a paraeducator and special ed, is working with the student, special ed teacher, whoever's involved with that student, and really recognizing those strengths. Getting the student involved as much as you can, giving them a job, a classroom, role, peer groups, small groups where they're going to read or be read to will really help the reading levels rise up, and also giving them like a reward system, something to work towards so they want to be in the classroom, they want to be around their friends, because sometimes it is nicer to be in a situation where you're in a quieter, smaller environment. So that is why inclusion is so important. And today we talked about inclusion as a whole, what it meant, the characteristics, which are really important. We also talked about some benefits and how it helps students to learn and grow and just be able to become independent and be who they want to be. And then also some suggestions or tips. And I hope that you guys look at those books. They're really great. So inclusion is just so important as we go forward in our society, and teaching kids that everyone is the same. They can all be the same growers and everything as a whole. So, thank you.